Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat and I am a knitter based in Hertfordshire, and this is my little space on the internet where I share my knitting journey. I've documented it from basically day one all the way through to now, where I have successfully completed over 100 projects. I think it's quite a bit more than that at this point, but so that's a little bit of an intro. If you're new, hello. I hope you enjoyed this little space. If you're here again and you've been here for a while, welcome back. It is lovely to have you here. I really hope that you can't hear the building work going on, but it is rather warm, so I really don't want to have to close all of the windows. Yeah, from the start, I'd like to excuse my hands. We did some Bob Ross painting on the weekend and I keep finding oil paint everywhere. No matter how many times I've soaked my hands and scrubbed, I still keep finding oil anywhere. So there's that. Secondly, I have a few things that I've written down for a change that I want to just remember to speak about. We have a little Discord group where it's basically a knitting server, so to speak. Oh, hello Audrey. Audrey is the in-house companion, the cat of my life. And within that, it's quite good for me to be able to quickly ping in information about our virtual knit nights that we do, but we're hoping to do another one tomorrow as a more of a spontaneous, because the knit night that we have is full of completely international knitters and makers. If you're a crocheter, you are most welcome to join us. If you're just interested in listening, again, you're welcome to join in. But we're going to hope to do a few more spontaneous ones to allow people from different time zones to jump in a bit more frequently. Monday was wonderful. We had from America to Spain, mostly Spanish knitters this week, which was cool, Germany, and a couple from all across the UK. And then another thing, which is kind of in that realm, a few of us on the Discord, instigated by Mary Louise and Natalie, they're going to cast on a Ranunculus, and I love the pattern so much. I think it's such a great beginner pattern. It's good for those that want to do learn a few texture stitches and textures through increasing. So I think I might join in on that. I think so far there's 4 or 5 people that have said that they would like to do that. So we're going to have a little mini cowl hopefully going along over there. I think I have the yarn, and it was my birthday gift a year and a half ago from Alex. So I think I'm going to do that. So if you'd like to join us, you are welcome. And I'm just going to have a sip of my tea. And I call it a tea, but it's definitely not tea. So I am drinking, it was a lovely gift, sort of a lockdown Easter treat from the lovely Nugget, which is Becky, one of my best friends. And it is chamomile, lavender and peppermint. So it's probably very sleep inducing, but I didn't have a very good night's sleep last night, if I'm honest. Lots of noise going on outside. The world's becoming noisier and noisier again, which is fine. So I'm going to try and avoid caffeine today. So yeah, Ranunculus. And then finally, if you don't check Ravelry very often, you might not be aware, Ravelry's had an update. I would love to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about that. I think it's quite cool. I already miss the green a little bit, and it is definitely a lot cleaner, but I'm hoping that over time that will evolve and the cleanness will match the user interface of it, because it does seem still, yeah, I think it's very good. They've done a great job. Anyway, so, and then also, I will jump in very shortly into knitting. But I wanted to ask, if you're new, this is not that relevant, but it might still be relevant because you might be here to learn or to just listen to someone have a natter. So I just wanted to put out there and ask for you to let me know how you would like this to go moving forward. For me, initially, I will do a full episode on explaining, but this was a space for me to talk and connect with people, and I would like it to still be that. But is it more useful when I discuss things that I've learned, proper information, technical information about patterns and how I thought about it in a more informative way, or is the chatty nature that I have since developed by accident that jumps around a bit, or is that more why you're here? Are you here more for the chatter, or are you here more for the information? Because I would like to, work on this, because I've held off recording quite so much, because I'm not really sure what Heather and Hops is. I really enjoy doing it, but I want it to be useful, if that makes sense. And if that is having a knitting friend and a way of connecting with the knitting community through our little Discord and through just general chatter through this medium, or is it more useful to have information and connect through questions? So yeah, that's what I'm asking. But anyway, let's talk about knitting and what I've been making. So this one I finished. So this is the only finished object I'm going to share with you today. But I finished this quite a while ago, and this is my test knit of the new pattern by Caitlin Hunter. It is a cardigan. It is an oversized, boxy, cropped shape. You have to forgive me, I've worn this quite a lot. So it was blocked, or steam blocked, and I try not to say this without meaning it, I really enjoyed knitting this pattern. Caitlin has a way of writing like fairly simple. They're not simple, she puts a lot of effort into them, but the way they're written is very clear, and the colour work or texture she does is generally quite repetitive, therefore quite Moorish, like without being, you're not doing it all over, you're not doing the same thing over and over again, you're doing similar things that you can get into a rhythm with, and I really enjoy that. This was knit back and forth and then seamed. The sleeves were then picked up in the round. So quite a simple little knit, but really enjoyable and knit up super quick. And I'm not sure how much that's to do with it being a DK weight or just the nature of this texture that knits up really quickly. So I used Qing Fibre Super Soft DK, I believe, Merino DK. I think it's Merino DK. Super Soft. You'll have to forgive me, I have got it on my Ravelry page, but I'm not going to go and find a wool band right now. But it's a DK weight yarn, and I used sort of striping and helic to make sure that I did blend the yarns together. I had a couple of quite pale skeins and a couple of quite dark ones. My hair is everywhere, I apologise for that too. So yeah, it was a really nice pattern to knit. I met gauge using the recommended needles, which is always quite a happy thing. Yeah, this is an oversized pattern. I did the smallest sized, and it fits quite wonderfully. I'm hoping not until this one dies. I'm going to try and keep continuing the Audrey's, she's out for the count, to continue to be conscious with what I knit and what I make. So if this one this one eventually sort of gives up life and it's pilled and I need to replace it, I would like to do one in most likely raw work, with long sleeves and a couple of pockets. Maybe do it a little bit longer because it is really wearable. I keep throwing it on when I get up in the morning, keep throwing it on bike rides because it's quite airy, so protective in the sort of summer evenings, if that makes sense, with the wind coming. But I really enjoyed knitting this pattern. Betsy is wonderful as a test knit host. She did a lot of the organising of the knitters on behalf of Caitlin. Questions were answered within seconds almost, even though she was on a completely different time zone. It was amazing. So, Gloam cardigan, available on Ravelry, really enjoyable, really wearable. And that is it. I'm joking. I have a little bit of a wrist. It's not a wrist problem, but it's what I've been saying because it's easier. One of my tendons is a little bit funky at the moment, so I haven't been knitting quite as prolifically, and that's okay. So these have been shown a little bit. I am on the toe. These are my DND socks, but last time I played D&D, I knitted on the next thing I'm going to show you. So they're ready for the toe, which I think I'm just going to do a simple vanilla rounded toe. It has my favourite Fish Lips Kiss in garter heel and some ribbing, and you have to excuse the state of my yarn balls, but I in truth cannot remember the name of this and who it was by. It was just a mini skein that I had. This one, it's Biff Sugar Yarn Siren, which I've got to say I think is one of my favourite sock yarns. It's just really, I mean, I don't know, the colours just speak to me. Beautiful minty greens and pepperminty spearmint greens, bit purple, bit of blue. Fantastic. Ah! Yay! And that is living in my favourite little kitten bag, which is covered in mohair by the lovely Becky. And secondly, this one is living in this gorgeous bag. I did a little giveaway of one of these not too long ago. I'd like to do another giveaway very soon. And this is knit using Fru Valborg on Merino Swell Base in the exclusive for Stephen and Penelope colourway Golden, which I really like. Yeah. Hi! And I have been really enjoying Poison Girl Knits patterns. I have done since I discovered and knit my first one, which was the Rizzo top, which I did in a silky merino green colour. The way she writes them is so clear and concise for how much information and how much shaping she puts into her patterns, and usually has a decent paragraph on fit, so I like them for that reason, and then how to adjust accordingly if the smallest bust is your size but the arm size you want to be a little bit looser. She'll guide you through that. It's really cool. And this looks a bit questionable, but this is the Beauty School pattern. So I like to, wherever I do decreases on sleeves, put the stitch markers on this on as I go, and that means that I don't have to really count or mark down rows. I can just count as I go. So when I think I've done about X amount of rows, I can go through, check, and decide if I need to figure out if I need to do a marker or not, a decrease or not. Blimey. But then what I'll do is as I go, I'll transfer these onto the opposite sleeve so that I know where I'm at without having to think or do anything, and each sleeve will be the same for that reason. So this is a fingering weight jumper. It's quite a simple, it will be quite a wardrobe staple, I believe. I haven't picked up for the collar yet. It has some gorgeous shaping. I picked up this sleeve not very well. I actually picked it up while I was in bed feeling a little bit which is fine, we all have those days. But this one's a lot better. And I believe it's just because I did a couple off the neat line that I was making. So it's my own fault, and it's very easy to, you know, to do if you're not paying full attention or you're not wearing your glasses for up close work. But I think I might do a little bit of almost mattress stitching here to solve that problem when I get to it. But because of the nature of it, you work backwards and forwards for the shoulders and then pick up at the back. The top seems to go quite quickly, and then once you start to join in the round, the body flies off. Really nice little bit of ribbing. It is a fairly quick knit. I got a little bit fed up, if I'm honest, because I'm not really sure why. I've always enjoyed doing magic loop when I've needed to, but I did not particularly enjoy it on these sleeves. So I did pick up a pair of needles. I've got to say these are not my favourite by any stretch, and I'm quite sad that I can't get a hold of any higher ones. So I might, I don't know, if anyone really likes things, let me know, and maybe I can post these out to you and swap, because I really like a soft cable. I think that's what I've come to understand, and I do really like knitting with bamboo over, yeah, and they just seem a bit clunky to me, but I'm gonna persevere. I'm gonna finish the sleeve at some point. I haven't been working on it that much because, like I said, my arm has been giving me a little bit of jip, and that seems to be fine on slightly larger needles, but on the fingering weight needles it's not so fun. It's not painful particularly in those positions because it's not from knitting, but tendonitis can be a really slong and low. Slong? That's slow and long. That's portmanteau, which is the combination of two words, and I do it all the time. Slong. But a slow and long healing process. These are the needles that I might switch back to. I will see. I do wish I could get hold of a 9-inch cable and some short needles, but it is what it is. I think I got gauge from recommended needle size, which I think's always very satisfying. I did do a tiny swatch. In future, what I might do is, I've quite enjoyed knitting sleeves from the bottom up, so I might use a sleeve to do my swatching. That's something that I've been thinking about, but I don't know. We'll see. And yeah, that's that. Really nice pattern. Amy Appel of Poison Girl Knits, and Beauty School jumper. Just a little top up. And finally, living in one of my duck pool laying bags. It's now too big for it really, but I cast this on Saturday night whilst we were sat in the garden. I kept saying I'm not going to do any knitting because of my wrist, so I've done a bit of drawing lately instead, but I just got the itch and I really wanted something chunky weight that my hands could do without thinking. I loved the turtle dove pattern and I would like to do a dark one, so there might be a chance that I over dye this. We'll see. But I cast on for a turtle dove and it's a little bit funky, so to speak, because I am holding some yarn that I had actually previously almost completed 2 jumpers with, and I unpicked them. These are Qing Fibre Suri alpacas, Sea Breeze and something else. It's a very soft yarn. It gets everywhere. The other jumper that I knitted using Qing Fibre Suri, for the first sort of 10 or 15 times I was lint rollering it before and after I was wearing it, and everything else that I was wearing that day. It's since calmed down a bit now, so it's starting to almost felt together and hold itself, which is good. So I'm aware of that process on this, but nevertheless it's going to be delicious and soft and squishy. So I've actually made big progress, and that is because this is all I've worked on. It's all I worked on Saturday evening, so probably 4 hours, and then on Monday night we knit night, and then a little bit each evening. So I've completed most of the body. The front's done. I have opted for the split hem, so the back is still to be done. I did the smallest size and the short rows. I didn't do quite as many of the increase rows, and that's because the same as my other ones. The other ones I did a lot shorter, and I made them much more fitted, and that was intentional, whereas this one I'm intentionally doing it oversized, but still not quite as deep as the pattern suggests. From memory, I think I did 8 less arm stitches. So just if you end up using it, it's a free pattern, it's a very simple pattern. I could cast on and just knit without really thinking. I checked the pattern maybe twice in the evening. I knew how many to cast on, I knew the 4 rows for the raglan. It just, and it's very easy to read where the increases are, so you know where you are in the pattern. Yeah, I cast on using the original needle size, which I believe is a 6 for the original pattern. There's 2 versions of it now, an Aran weight and a bulky weight, which is, it's hit and miss whether that's true because of the nature of the yarn that she recommended. But I opted for holding Surrey double and the original needle size, but I stayed at a 6.5. I did used to knit quite loose, but over the years, I've not been knitting years yet, but over the months that I have been knitting, my gauge generally has come closer to what is considered more standard, more in line with a lot of the designers that I follow. So I opted to size down anyway because I didn't quite want it as oversized. It is pretty wide, which makes me quite happy, and it is to replace the jumper, which I might show when it's finished. I am not knitting it as long as the jumper it is replacing. The jumper it's replacing comes down halfway down my thighs, but yeah. So I did knit this sort of with a purpose. I have 3 jumpers left, I think, that I'm not getting rid of until I've replaced them, and this is one of them. So I'm quite looking forward to gifting that to a new home, which will probably be my sister at the moment. Yeah, overall, can't recommend Espace Tricot's patterns enough. They are usually, well, the ones that I've knitted are incredibly clear, and this in itself is a great starting garment. If you've never knitted a garment and you've been a bit nervous, this is a really great one to go with. Like I said, easy to adjust. You could use a variety of yarns, whether you hold them single, double, triple even, a fingering weight with some double mohair or suri or anything. It's really quite a flexible pattern, and because of the nature of the way it's constructed, you could just keep growing it, increase quicker, increase slower. Great pattern. And I have one more test knit that I unfortunately can't share. She might release it to oh, bear with me. Sorry, so that was a brief interval because the postman has been, I think I was saying that I have one more test knit that I think is being released today, but I'm uncertain, so I'm going to share that with you next episode. And I have another mostly finished object that needs a little bit of TLC. I need to reknit a collar, which if you've been on my Ravelry page, you might have seen it, but I want to do a few more tweaks and maybe put the buttons on before I share it. So there's that, and then I may as well show you, if you're my father, avert your eyes, but this is one of the things that I've been drawing. It's just arrived in the post, and this is a gift from my father for Father's Day, and these are, and I didn't do our first family dog, and it's not because I didn't love her, because she was with us for 16 years. I absolutely do love her, but these three, these two together, Max and Rogue, were as thick as thieves. They were the sweetest, funniest, most characterful pair. Rogue was definitely my spirit animal, but Max lived with Mia for a bit too. He saw in his twilight years with Mia, so it's kind of, yeah. I didn't really know what to do for my dad for Father's Day this year. He often gets a bottle of whiskey or beer, car parts, car paraphernalia. I just thought it was a bit different. So that's fun. Oh, my Ranunculus is just here. So if you haven't seen the Ranunculus by Knit Midori Cafe, or Midori Hiro, I believe her name is, this is my version, the first version I knit, which I wear all the time. You can see it's peeled quite a bit. I've never once gleamed it. I don't own a gleamer. I should probably get one. Knitted in brow work. I love this jumper. It's so wearable. It goes with everything because of the colour. I do. So if you want to join us, then you're most welcome to. But yeah, that is probably enough from me today. I hope you are keeping well. I hope you and your family are safe, and that you're looking out for each other. I am quite excited that Bill and Ted are releasing a film this year, and that's not necessarily because I think it's going to be great, but I think the reminder for us all to be excellent to each other is something that we all need. I think 99% of the world try to be excellent to each other, but maybe the few. But anyway, I hope you find some time for knitting, making, creating, sharing and communicating with your loved ones. I can't emphasize how important that is. Anytime you're offered a cuddle with someone that you can, give them a hug, take in the oxytocin, drink enough water, eat some more plants, and have a lovely week.
Like it's wobbly.
What are you up to, Audrey? You having the best time?